Yeah, he actually wasn't that bad. I probably was worse. I was the Dieter in that situation. No, he's a big Yankees fan, obviously, and he's super excited. And now he gets to talk trash to Travis. So I passed that along to Trav.
Keep up there with Travis.
No, dude, you can't give him a little slither of opening. And Travis told us that he was going to the game, and all of a sudden I looked and Dieter's flying to New York. So it's can't give him an opening, no. But it's cool for him to get to do it. I mean, I'm not like a Yankees hater, but I sometimes I don't want the Yankees to win because of him. Like he's made me not want the Yankees, but I like the guys on the team. So I'm just watching as a fan now, which is cool.
Yeah, you and I have talked about this, Matt, but the guy opposite Kels ends up being very important. That they know how to play the game and can kind of do similar things that Kels can do. And
You're used to obviously playing in big games, but is there anything special about this one given the recent history between these teams?
Yeah, I mean, as I think it's as big as a regular season game you could play in. But I mean, they're a great football team, and I always like going up against the best, and that's what we're going up against this week. And so we understand that it's gonna be a big game. We understand that it's gonna take our best to win. And so you just have to have extreme focus and know that it's gonna be one play that kind of decides the entire game.
You talked before about your interest in NFL history. Are you kind of aware of what this rivalry is, what its place in NFL history is now?
Yeah, in a sense, I think whenever you have two great football teams that meet up in the Super Bowl and meet up in all these big games, there's going to be a history between that. And so, obviously, we've been able to win those games, but we know how good this football team is, and we have a ton of respect for them. And so it's not like one play couldn't have changed all these football games. And so we're going with that mindset of we just got to make the plays whenever they count.
When you watch the last two drives of last year's game, offensive drives, what goes through your mind when you see those two drives?
I think the biggest thing that is the guys just stepped up and made plays. I mean, it wasn't one guy. It was everybody, and guys just continue to make plays and did their job, and that's what special football teams do. And it was this close. I mean, there's a play here and there that if that changes, then they win. And so that's kind of the NFL, and especially when you get two of the top teams going up against each other.
Recognizing that part of the bye week is to get away, was there something you still wanted to hone in on with your own game?
Yeah, I mean, I got some work in, and I feel like I'm in a good spot. But, I mean, till you take time off, you stay on top of your fundamentals. You stay on top of the stuff that's gotten you to where you are so far in the season. But I thought it was a good bye week. I spent some time with my family and some friends and family as well. And so did that and then got some work in fundamentally, and I'm excited for a great challenge ahead.
Just to follow up to that, what's your approach just for yourself and for your teammates, especially the younger guys, for the rest of the season as you guys kind of buckle in for this 12-game unbroken stretch to finish things out, at least in the regular season?
Yeah, you got to take it one game at a time, one day at a time. I haven't been in this situation before just because I've always had a later bye week. But I always try to stay on top of my body and making sure I'm healthy as possible. I mean, you're going to be banged up in the NFL. But you have to continue to just grind away every single day and get better. And then once you get to the playoffs, that's when you want to be playing your best football. And I think that's something that Coach Reid does a great job of how he schedules practices, how he schedules the week to get your body best prepared for the entire season.
Patrick, speaking of that, go ahead, Keith. What qualities make Juju Smith-Schuster a good player for that role opposite Kelsey?
Yeah, I think he just does a good job of knowing where to be at, knowing the full concept of the offense, getting himself open in man-to-man coverage, and then just doing whatever it takes to be good. I mean, he'll block, he'll catch the ball, he'll run routes to get other guys open. Just a true team player. And then when his number gets called, he goes out there and makes the play, and that's what it takes to be great in this league.
Patrick, speaking of keeping your body right, what sort of stuff do you try to do with Bobby during the season, even the bye week in particular? What are you emphasizing right now?
Yeah, I mean, you stay on top of the little things, shoulder health, knee health, ankle health, all that different type of stuff, especially when you get a little bit extra time in the bye week. And then I try to do whatever I can to maintain my weight in the right spot. And then I even get with my QB coach and get some work in as well in that bye week. You just get a little extra time to focus on your fundamentals even more. And so doing that and then coming back in the building and continue to stay on top of that will be important to me this year.
Bobby in particular, what's his voice in your ear during the season, at this time of the season? What do you get from him?
His voice is in my ear at all times. No, it's he makes sure I stay on top of the little things. I think that's the biggest thing that's helped me throughout my career, and I've noticed a difference from my first few years to now that Bobby's up here working with me is that he doesn't let the little things slide. And he knows some days I don't feel as good, and he makes sure that I get that work in, and I make sure to kind of check the boxes, and so that I can be the best I can be every single week.
Did you enjoy your trip over to Kauffman Stadium?
I did. It was awesome. It was the energy was amazing. Obviously, the Royals played great against a great baseball team and didn't come out with the win. But it was cool to see and experience that. I've been waiting for that for a long time, and hopefully it's a building block and a step in the right direction for the future. And I'm excited for those guys in the seasons to come.
How awful was Dieter in the Sweet League?
Yeah, he actually wasn't that bad. I probably was worse. I was the Dieter in that situation. He's a big Yankees fan, obviously, and he's super excited, and now he gets to talk trash to Travis. So I passed that along to Trav.
Keep up there with Travis.
No, dude, you can't give him a little slither of opening. And Travis told us that he was going to the game, and all of a sudden I looked and Dieter's flying to New York. So it's can't give him an opening, no. But it's cool for him to get to do it. I mean, I'm not like a Yankees hater, but sometimes I don't want the Yankees to win because of him. Like, he's made me not want the Yankees, but I like the guys on the team. So it's I'm just watching as a fan now, which is cool.
Keeping with the baseball theme, what inspired you to get involved with the Negro Leagues and the collection there?
You know, it was cool because I didn't know Kansas City and the history of the Negro Leagues in Kansas City. And when I got here as a rookie in the rookie symposium type stuff, they took us over to the museum, and I realized how great it was and met Bob and got to hear the history. And that was the same stuff my dad and LaTroy had talked about growing up. And my dad used to mimic Satchel Paige in some of the way he'd do his mechanics and pitch. And so it just hit me close because I had heard this stuff growing up, and now I got to hear the history of it. And so I know people talk about it, but if you haven't been, I would go over to the Negro Leagues Museum and see the history of the game and how it impacted not only baseball, but the sports world in general. It was easy for me whenever Adidas came up to me and said, let's make something that goes with Kansas City. I was like the Negro League Museum and the Monarchs especially. And so I'm excited for how the shoe turned out, and hopefully you go out and get them.
Patrick, there's been a lot of buzz in the league the last couple of days, wide receivers. That being said, with Juju, the game he had last Monday night, what's the confidence like, especially him tweeting out after the game, I'm still got it?
No, I mean, I have extreme confidence with the guys that are on that football field. I mean, they've won games, they've won Super Bowls, they've made plays in big moments, and Brett Veach does a great job of bringing players in that can step up whenever their number's called. And so every time I step on that football field, I feel like we have the best ability to win. And I think that's a credit to Brett Veach and Coach Reid bringing in guys that really get after it and put in the work to be great every single day.
Go to Nate next. Go to Nate.
How much time in the bye week, Patrick, did you look at your guys' performance in the red zone, and is there anything you want to change when you guys do get in that sort of condensed area of the field?
Yeah, I think it's just execution. I think for me, myself, I have to just trust to throw into some of those tighter windows and make those plays and know that window might be the only opportunity you have to score a touchdown. And then we have to be able to run the ball down there and know that we get different coverages than a lot of other teams. And so instead of necessarily going in with a certain mindset, because this is how this team has played in the red zone, we have to go in with more good versus all plays. I mean, if you look at some of these teams, it's like they play man all game, and then they play us. I mean, all season they play us, and it's cover 2 or cover 4, and vice versa. And so we have to go in with the mindset of knowing teams are going to play us a little differently, and we have to execute and accept that challenge. And I've talked about if we've scored in some of these red zone situations, there isn't as many, I guess, questions about the offense because we're scoring in more and more points. And so eliminating turnovers, scoring in the red zone are the two things that I think we just need to work on as the season goes on.
Just to follow up on that, the tight window thing, obviously you don't throw a lot of tight window throws. Did you see stuff going back through film, particularly in the red zone, that you say, hey, there was a small crease here that maybe I could have thrown it?
Yeah, I mean, in certain situations, yeah. I mean, I remember just from not even watching on tape, but just remember in the Atlanta game, I had one where I kind of went out to the left, and it wasn't necessarily the window to throw it, but I could have maybe back shouldered the corner route, and I didn't throw it that one instance, and then we didn't get another opportunity to score that drive. And so I was just knowing that, like, you got to pick and choose when you want to take those chances. I mean, obviously with our defense and how they're playing, you don't want to necessarily put the ball in harm's way in the red zone. But whenever you get those opportunities, you can throw a ball that might be him or nobody, and the guy can make a catch. And so stuff that I'll continue to work on as the season goes on.
Patrick, when a guy like Juju comes back that you've worked with before, but it's been a while, how quickly, and what's the process of just getting familiar again and getting on the same page? That work?
Yeah, no, I mean, it always helps when you get in the game and it just kind of works out. I mean, obviously you get the reps in practice and you try to work through the things that I don't want to say lost, but you haven't worked on in the last year of him not being here. But then it seemed like when we got in the game, it kind of just clicked. And so that was something that was big for me. And we'll continue to get him involved in the offense as well as other guys. And I'm just excited for the guys that continue to get better and better each and every week, and I think we have the guys to do it.
Okay, thanks, Patrick.
Is Mike Dana. He's got a pec strain, so we'll just see how he does this week as we go forward. Look forward to the challenge of playing the 49ers. Heck of a football team. Kyle does a great job with, with the team, and he and Chris have that offense rolling right now, and their defense is one of the top defenses in the NFL, and Nick heading up the defense and special teams. Brian does a great job there on special teams. So, listen, they're well coached. They've got good players. I think both teams kind of know each other, and it should just be a heck of a game. With that, time's yours.
Coach, what is it about the Niners defense that makes them so difficult to prepare for?
Yeah, so they've got their defensive front starts with those guys, and then they've got all pro linebacker sitting right there. That's pretty good, along with their secondary. So they're well rounded, but it starts with the defensive front. Those guys, they set the tempo for their defense.
Andy, what are your plans for Clyde now that he's on the active list?
Yeah, we'll just see how that goes, and how it all works in. We got to look at everything on that. So, special teams, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll just, but he's good to go to practice. He knows what he's doing. He's feeling great, which is the most important thing. So.
Do you anticipate that he would play?
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Andy, is Super Bowl footage of any use at all at this stage, based on the timeline and things they're doing differently?
Yeah, I think both teams will look at that for sure. Yeah, you're going to look at everything. I mean, over the time that we've had against each other. I mean, along with the games we've already played and they've played. So you look at all of that.
Do you think there's any consciousness at all, the notion of a rematch, or not this, just another regular season game?
Yeah, I think that comes from you guys, and then, but I think it's two good teams playing each other for sure. I mean, that's how I look at it.
How was a bye week for you and your coaching staff?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to step back for a second. For the players in particular, they got quite a bit of time off, and coaches got a little bit of time off, and it was good for everybody there.
And you've been through this long enough to know, what are the benefits of having an early bye when compared to like one that's, say, closer to Thanksgiving?
Yeah, and we've normally had them a little 9th week or plus, somewhere in that area. Our schedule is crazy enough where you're going to get some days off, and it's important that you take advantage of those days. So that's what I would tell you. So it was good to get this one, and then how we handle the rest of the schedule is the important part. And when we have time, make sure you take the time, and for recovery purposes.
Andy, what do you attribute to, you guys had a lot of success under center against the Saints. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, we've done a little bit more of that this year, and it's just, listen, it's one more thing that we like to use, and we're able to use it a little bit more. I think the running backs love that part, obviously, but it's a good changeup. Yeah.
When you were going back during the bye, how did you feel about some of the pass protection, and then particularly at the left side? Just how did you guys maybe do a little bit better there?
Yeah, listen, we've got young guys playing the left tackle. I mean, that's not a secret, and so it's important that we just continue to progress there and get better. We know there are going to be some hiccups, and we've just got to keep getting better and better as we go. That's the important thing, and the guys are working hard, and so that's kind of where we're at with that.
Will Wanya start this week?
Yeah, Wanya will start. Yeah.
Coach, Brock Purdy's obviously had a very fine career to start here, and wasn't drafted by anybody until the very last pick of the draft. And he's kind of proven it over time. What do you see from him as he's gone through here, getting a couple years into this thing, where it seems to not be dropping off?
No, I think he's a heck of a player. I remember the head coach at Iowa State saying this guy changed the program around, and when you make a statement like that, and he's a good football coach, when you make a statement like that, that's bold, and it's we all see why he said it. You know, he was right on with that. I mean, this kid's he's a heck of a football player.
What was just kind of your impression so far of just how much that Juju has kind of been able to kind of pick up where he was, you know, in 2022 when he was with you guys?
Yeah. Well, first of all, he's a veteran. He works hard and he's smart. So I think all of those kind of go into that. And you know, Pat has trust in him. So, and we as coaches have trust in him, and we've tried to put him in good positions for his strengths and try to utilize those. And that's, I think all of those things kind of add up to production. But the main thing is he's kept himself in great shape and he's smart. You know, he knows how to play the game.
He said when he got here that he watched last year and saw Reid doing a lot of the things that he had done the year before. Does that make him just a really good piece to have around when you do lose Reid?
Yeah, you and I have talked about this, Matt, but the guy opposite Kels ends up being very important. That they know how to play the game and can kind of do similar things that Kels can do, and it's you know, if you can get that, then you know, you've got something going offensively that way. So he did that before. You know, Pringle did that before him. We've had guys in those spots that could do that. So it's you know, that's a positive thing. Anyways, Juju's good with that, and yeah, they are similar things. They're doing similar things.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Okay, good.